The month of Adar is coming to a close. And we have the month of Nisan, the month of miracles, the miracle that we came out of Egypt, the miracle that we're still a people. This is the month of Nisan that's coming. Tomorrow, Rosh Chodesh. All righty. You know, Jews like to debate. So we're learning about the debate in the morning in the Talmud between Rabbi Lezer that says that the world was created on Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah. And Rabbi Yeshua that says, no, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is tomorrow. How do you have a debate in fact? A fact is a fact. You can't debate a fact. Perspective on things you can debate, but a fact. So the debate really is a debate. Do we look at the conception of the world or the actual birth of the world? The thought or the actual deed? That's a distinction. The month of Nisan is the thought of God, the conception of world. And the actual birthing of the world is Tishrei. More on that to come. Actually, we're learning that every morning. 7:05 in the morning. Which you can get on Zoom or on Facebook. Facebook, Chabad ZK. All right. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. And we share today with Rachamim in Houston, Texas. Boker Tov. Jane is with us and all the way in the Philippines. Good evening. Brett, Pennsylvania, is with us. Boker Or. Fred is in Uganda. Welcome. Good evening to you. Welcome. And who else is with us? Rabbi in Morocco. Good afternoon. Joseph is joining us in a sunny day in Jersey. That's amazing. And where it is past midnight, Melbourne, Australia. Terrence DJ is with us. Welcome. Agnes in Germany, good afternoon. Diane, as always, who wakes up in the morning. In Arizona, welcome. Louise is in Sydney, Australia, where it's also very late. Chava, all right, Boker Tov. Welcome. And is from wherever you are. Welcome aboard. Back in, still in Mexico, we have David. Must be on vacation. Liba and Davida, twin sisters in New York. Good morning. Jackie's joining us in Charlotte, North Carolina, while Elise is in West Virginia. Michael is in Germany. Good afternoon. Julia is, of course, in Pennsylvania. All right. Who else is with us? Tanya is with us. All right. Spelled with an IA instead of a YA, not instead of, but as opposed to. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Daphne is having a wonderful Wednesday in southern South Carolina, and so are we. Thanks for joining. Leia is in Florida. Who else? In the Czech Republic, we have Vaclav. We have Casey. Casey is joining us. June is in Australia with us. Priscilla in Canada. Oh, a fellow Canadian. All right. Who's Yom Haledet? Natalie is in Georgetown, Massachusetts, I guess. Lila in Colorado. Stan, good afternoon, in London, England, that is. Simcha in Florida is with us. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Leah in Florida, Eugenia in Calgary. Chava is in California. Amazing. Moshe, welcome. Ken in Colorado. Okay, welcome back, Ken. Michael's yahrzeit was yesterday. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Is that 1 year or 2? I'm a little foggy on that. Let me know, Leah. Okay, thank you for reminding. Okay. Who else is with the Batya, Vilma, David, Michael, Adam, Winston, Jay, joining us on Clubhouse. We have Akoy back with us in Lima, Peru. We have Eitan, Aleichem Shalom, Rachel in South Carolina. Nancy is with us. Bella is joined us. Yenta Telebenta is with us. Beautiful. The colossal debate. What's greater? Doing a mitzvah in the physical act of engaging a material world, or the study of Torah, as we're doing right now, which has a great unity and oneness with God. We've debated this back and forth, showing the greatness of a mitzvah that engages the physicality and the animal soul, the vital soul that gives vitality to us, that it becomes refined through the act of a mitzvah. And the world becomes refined, the materiality of this world. On the other hand, Torah study, the union, is so much greater. A perfect union and oneness with God through the study of Torah. So, what gives? Who wins over here? Not that there's a winner take all over here. Actually, not. But after all is said and done, and as great as Torah study is, our sages say that the most important thing is not the study, but the deed. Where do we know that from? Because it says, Hayoim lasoisam. Today is to do it. Just do it. Or, as I say, just do it. Do the mitzvah. The act of the mitzvah. We're not talking about intent in the mitzvah. We're not talking about kavanah. We're not talking about, being highly focused and highly deliberate in the mitzvah. Just the act of the mitzvah. Putting on the tefillin. Giving the charity. That very act. Right? That's what what it says in the verse. And we learn from there. The most important thing is just to do the act. That's what the halacha is. And you have to interrupt your Torah studies. For example, it's the time to say Shema now. It's 9:40. I know the time to say Shema here is about 9:50 in Montreal. So if you go beyond that timing in the middle of your Torah study, you have to interrupt your Torah study to fulfill that mitzvah. By way of example. But why? Why interrupt the Torah study if this is so great? The union and the oneness with God. Because the verse tells us that today is to do, right? as opposed to tomorrow, meaning tomorrow after time, meaning after the coming of Mashiach, will be then the greater union. But today, the performance outweighs everything. That's the entire purpose. That's what we've created, a soul to come into this world. Because if it was just about a union, it could have stayed up above. So it came down into this world, into a body, in dealing with the animal / vital soul, because in this lowest realm, we got to turn that darkness into light, the light of holiness, in order that God's presence, His glory, should be revealed in the entire physical world, to the extent that eventually, and this is with our teachings, that all flesh should be able to behold godliness. So achieving this abode for God, dir b'tachteinim as it's called in the Hebrew, a dwelling place for God in this low world, is through action-oriented mitzvahs. Just do it. Just do it. Do the mitzvah. Therefore, if you're studying Torah like we're doing now, and you need to fulfill the mitzvah, you got to do the mitzvah first. Now that, though, is only when the mitzvah cannot be done by somebody else. Then you got to do it, like your own Shema. Like I mentioned, there's a time frame until when you can say the Shema, or your own tefillin. But sometimes there's mitzvahs that could be done without you. It could be fulfilled, and you don't need to stop your studies then. Why not? I mean, if a mitzvah is creating that abode for God in this world, because it's being created without you. So, but wouldn't it be better that I have a portion in creating that? Well, here's the flip side. Torah study is a greater unity with God. How so? As we gave metaphorically, when you do a mitzvah, it's like the limbs, like my limb, my arm, is connected to me, but not essentially so, because you could live without the arm, so to speak, right? I mean, not so to speak, but you could. So there's a union between me and my arm, right? The limbs of my body. So there's 248 limbs of the body, representing 248 mitzvahs, positive commandments. God, as it were, 248 limbs, figuratively speaking, meaning that they represent that union with Him, but as limbs is united with the person. It's a union, but not a perfect union. As opposed to the brain with the person, that's a perfect union. Without a brain, well, nothing. That's Torah study, the brain of God, the wisdom of God, perfectly united one with Him, and therefore when we study it, we're perfectly united one with God. So there's a greater union in Torah study. Therefore, if the mitzvah could be done, in other words, the refinement of this physical world, the materiality of this world can be accomplished without you when doing that particular mitzvah, and you're studying Torah, so you don't interrupt your Torah study. You know? So what emerges from here is something very special. Two things come out from here. There is God's desire and our desire. God's desire is an abode for Him in this low world, meaning in material, meaning through action is how you engage in material, right? The cup, I have to, to grasp it. I can't engage with this cup with my thoughts or speaking to the cup. I have to take the cup and then take the water that's in here and make a bracha on it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh bidvarei. Through the action, I was able to, do a mitzvah of making a blessing. I mean, the speech is also called a minor action. As opposed to thought, I can't engage with this. Well, Torah study is thought. You got to have your thoughts engaged in understanding what is being learned. So it's a greater union with God, but it's not affecting the physical world or the physicality of me, meaning the body and the animating slash animal soul, to refine it. Here I could this is just for my pleasure. Or I can give the pleasure to God through the act of saying a blessing and engaging with this water, for example. Using it to give me strength to serve God. And as we said, thereby elevating the material world around us, which is what God's desire is. Therefore, that's first and primary. Hayom, today, just do it. Do the mitzvah. At the same time, though, there's a greater union of the soul we have with God through Torah study. And that's what the soul wants. It wants greater union. So it wants to rather study Torah because it'll have a greater connection, a deeper connection, a perfect connection, as opposed to the act of the mitzvah. So both are true, both are valuable, invaluable, that is, and we need to have both in our lives. Amazing. All right. Any questions? Welcome, Jerry from Texas. And Rita from Colorado. And from Toronto. MSC, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. Sandy, Michigan. Jeff is with us in also Michigan. Okay. I don't see any questions. Leah, was it his passing was? It's 1 year. Okay, thank you. Wow. Okay, I'm going to look it up. All right, I don't see questions. Even Alan doesn't have what to say. There must be such clarity. Oh, I see Bella has a question. In davening, when we say doing kindness, visiting the sick, honoring one's parents, but learning Torah is equivalent to them all, is what you're saying explaining that is what it means exactly? Yeah. Because exactly. Through, excuse me 1 second, just trying to see if I can. Yeah, the Yahrzeit was yesterday. Okay. So today's learning is in honor of Michael Amowitz, who was a devoted student and part with us learning. And don't have his Hebrew name and stuff. Anybody has that in his father's. Anyways, Neshama Shav and Aliyah, and today's learning is in his honor. Ah, Alan. What took you so long?
I have to. Good morning, Rabbi Fine.
Good morning.
I have to admit that I missed the whole thing.
Yes.
But
that's okay.
But nonetheless, I have a question that might be on target in any way. So, can I ask one?
Go ahead.
Anyway?
Sure.
So, we're instructed to learn Torah. That's really important, and it enriches us. And we get sporum. We get the books of people who have, major commentaries on the Torah and Hasidic insights into it. And I find that when I'm learning from these books, from these forum, I feel that not only am I just gaining the knowledge, but I feel that I'm joining them. That I feel in a certain sense that I'm with them on that page. That it's as if that the time that I'm living in and the time that they were living in there's no real difference between.
Right.
And after a while, you can get a sense when you're reading a particular sefer and you're following the logic that you can almost anticipate what he's going to say or what he's going to think, as if you were having a person right in front of you and engaged in conversation and have that sense.
Very good. That's the way it should be. Yeah.
So,
because indeed, actually, it's interesting. It says that, imagine, we just finished learning Chumash and Rashi, or now we're learning Tanya, and they're talking about people, passed on, but it says that they actually, when we say their words, they're saying it with us too. That means exactly, I don't know, but it does mean there's a bond, a connection with the author that we're studying their sefer, their book, their holy writings. Yeah, absolutely correct. Thank you.
I feel that strongly when I'm.
That's great.
When I'm like studying the Ramchal, I mean, I get a sense that it's not just that I understand principles, but
you're getting a
I'm
sense of him.
The
a sense of
that
him.
In a way, our neshamot, our souls are joined in some kind of bizarre way through the process.
Excellent. Beautiful.
Anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you. So I see a couple questions here that I missed. David has asked, how does this affect women who are not time-bound to certain mitzvahs? So, women are time-bound mitzvahs. Women are exempt from, like tefillin, like saying the Shema, on time, because it's time-bound. Women are beyond time, not limited to time, not to be bound by time. Mitzvahs that are bound by time, that is. So, how does that affect? Because they don't have to. Well, even though they're time-bound mitzvahs, they're not obliged. But Shabbos, comes, they have to stop their Torah study and go, prepare for Shabbos and keep Shabbos, right? So I don't know what else it would affect. It just means that they don't have those things, that they have responsibility. Oh, reminding me a lot of times over here. Okay. And I see Jeff. Jeff, how is time greater on earth than 1 hour of doing a mitzvah more than the reward? Yeah. So it says that 1 hour of doing tshuva, maisim tovim, penitence and good deeds of mitzvahs in this world is greater than all of the world to come in its reward. Because here, you're attached to the core essence of God. In the world to come, in Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, where our soul goes after our time in this world, you get a ray of light. Here we get the core essence of God. Why? Why are we getting the core essence of God? Life's not about a reward. That's the key. I know 99.99% of the world thinks that life is about reward. And therefore you do things that are rewarding. Like being charitable is rewarding because it makes you feel good. Makes you look good too. You go on vacation, it's rewarding after all the hard work that you did. And that's how we look at things. But what we learned today, Jeff, is today, just do it. It's not about the reward. The reward will be, and actually in times of Mashiach, that's in times of Mashiach will be the reward. What's the reward? The reward is the experience of what we are doing and being bound up in one with God. We are right now bound up in a perfect unity with God in our Torah study. We're not experiencing it. We're not getting the reward. That's the reward, is to experience it. We will get that in the times of Mashiach. But today, just do it. Just do it. Do the mitzvah. You're not going to feel the experience of the mitzvah, how rewarding it is. Well, you're being attached with the essence of God. That will come once we fulfill what we got to fulfill in this world of changing and transforming the darkness of this world to light, to godliness. Then we will have that experience. In a way, as Ro'ol Kol Basar, as we said, as all flesh will perceive godliness. Not just in your mind's eye, but your physical eye. Hence, this is where it's at. Right here, right now. Right? Just do the mitzvah. Thank you, Jeff. Excellent. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's okay. Don't worry, Davida. Alrighty. Beautiful. Amazing. All of you. Thank you for being part of the conversation, part of the community, Tanya community. It's beautiful. It's amazing how we do this every day. And so many of you are literally here every day. Some of you are here a few times a week. Some of you might be your first time. Reminder, Rambam is coming up. Also, TRC, Tanya Rabbi Community. Go to TanyaRabbi.com for more information on how we take this life-changing teachings and bring it down into day-to-day living that changes ourselves and the world for good. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad, Zurich, and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing, great day. Thank you for joining.